Welcome to Africa, a continent rich with tales of legacy and grandeur. The story begins well before the 16th century, in a world punctuated by the vibrant colors of ancient civilizations. Among the towering mountains and lush valleys thrived the Songhai Empire, replete with scholars who advanced mathematics and astronomy, echoing through the halls of its great universities. The Kingdom of Ethiopia rose proudly in the east, where the Ark of the Covenant was said to be hidden, preserving a faith steeped in history and tradition. Central Africa flourished under the Congo Kingdom, where intricate trade routes interconnected villages and cities, symbolizing a robust economy that catered to a diverse population. At the same time, the Swahili trading cities along the Indian Ocean coast came alive with the vibrant exchange of goods and ideas, creating a cultural melting pot long before the arrival of European explorers. With the dawn of the 16th century, Africa's narrative began its transformative shift. As the tides of exploration swept across the world, European powers set their sights on Africa, driven by a desire for wealth and resources. The continent, once cloaked in richness and independence, faced the tumultuous waves of colonization. Yet within this storm arose a fierce spirit of resistance. The kingdoms and empires now threatened fortified their identities while grappling with foreign influences. This period was marked by both struggle and resilience, as leaders emerged to rally their people against the tide of colonialism. As the 20th century dawned, a new chapter unfolded: the quest for independence. A mosaic of voices rose in unison, claiming their right to self-determination and sovereignty. Independence movements swept through the continent, igniting a passion for freedom that would shape the decades to come. This is the Africa often relegated to footnotes in textbooks, the Africa that brims with stories of courage, determination, and vision. Today we shine a light on this vibrant history, revealing the nuanced complexities and profound legacies that define the African continent. We embark on a journey that honors the past, while looking forward to a future filled with hope and potential. A journey that celebrates Africa, a land of ancient kingdoms, resilient spirits, and rich cultural brilliance, urging us to remember and cherish its exceptional legacy. In the 1500s, Africa stood as a vibrant heart of global trade, pulsating with the exchange of wealth and culture. The West African empires, particularly Songhai, commanded pivotal gold and salt routes that snaked across the vast expanse of the Sahara Desert. These routes not only facilitated trade, but also forged links that united diverse peoples and cultures, allowing the empires to flourish and thrive in the dynamic market of the time. Further east, the Swahili Coast was a melting pot of economic activity, where merchants engaged in spirited exchanges of ivory, textiles, and exotic spices. The interplay of cultures was palpable, as traders from Arabia, India, and even China navigated the oceanic currents to make their presence felt along the rich shores. The bustling markets echoed with the sounds of bartering, weaving a tapestry of life that thrived on mutual benefit and respect among trading partners. As one delves deeper into this colorful moment in history, the Ethiopian Empire emerges as a bastion of Christianity, steadfast against the encroaching influences of the Ottoman Empire. Its resilience symbolized the unwavering spirit of African nations, determined to protect their cultural identity in the face of external pressures. Meanwhile, the Kingdom of Benin became notable not just for its impressive bronze artwork, which captured the essence of its people and traditions, but also for its advanced city planning and diplomatic relations with European powers like Portugal, showcasing Africa's ability to engage with the wider world on its own terms. However, the winds of change blew across the continent. As European naval power surged, the dynamics began to shift abruptly. The balance of trade that once thrived on equality gave way to a new reality as Europeans, driven by ambition and greed, started to impose their will. No longer were they satisfied to trade as equals. They sought dominion over the vast resources of Africa, marking a significant turning point that would profoundly alter the continent's fate. The confident and prosperous Africa of the 1500s now stood on the brink of an era marked by colonial ambitions, drastically reshaping its intricate web of trade and the identities of its people. The transatlantic slave trade stands as an indelible mark of sorrow and inhumanity in human history. This dark chapter unfolded from the 16th to the 19th centuries, during which over 12 million Africans were forcibly uprooted from their homelands, ensuring a relentless tide of suffering. Families, once vibrant with life and stories, were ripped apart. The echoes of their cries reverberated through the hearts of those left behind, creating voids that could never be filled, casting lingering shadows that extend even into contemporary society. As communities fractured, entire kingdoms crumbled under the weight of loss and despair. This era was one of violence and brutality, reflected in the countless lives ravaged by disease and starvation during the harrowing Middle Passage. Boats overcrowded and unsanitary, transformed into coffins for many, who succumbed to inhuman conditions. Such devastation painted a brutal picture of the lengths to which people would go to fuel an economy built on exploitation and greed. The lives of millions became mere commodities, traded for the sake of wealth and power. The economic rise of the United States was intricately woven with the threads of African labor. Agriculture flourished under the burden of forced labor, and industries prospered, sowing the seeds for a wealth that was built on the backs of the oppressed. Yet amidst this overwhelming tide of exploitation, African societies refused to succumb without resistance. Leaders emerged, some taking up arms while others sought diplomatic solutions in a fierce fight against dehumanization. Their resilience serves as a testament to the indomitable spirit of those who fought against the scourge of slavery, marked by acts of courage that still inspire today. The enduring impacts of this era reshaped the landscape of Africa permanently. Population loss and rampant warfare altered societies and ecosystems, reshaping cultures and traditions. The economic disruptions left scars that continue to affect the continent's development. The legacy of the transatlantic slave trade laid the groundwork for further European colonization, intertwining the fates of lands and peoples in a global narrative marred by subjugation. As we reflect on this harrowing past, we bear a responsibility to honor the memories and struggles of those who suffered, ensuring their stories are never forgotten, but instead become a beacon guiding us toward a more equitable future. The 1700s and 1800s witnessed a profound transformation across African nations, compelled by the relentless pressures of European colonization. Rather than succumbing to silence and despair, African leaders initiated crucial military reforms, adapting their strategies to confront external threats while striving to maintain their sovereignty. The resolve of these nations became a powerful testament to their enduring spirit amidst the turmoil and upheaval that engulfed the continent during this period. At the forefront of Africa's resistance was the Zulu Kingdom, a formidable force under the visionary leadership of Shaka Zulu. He orchestrated revolutionary changes in warfare, merging various clans into a cohesive and powerful entity. The Zulus' innovative tactics, including the famed Horns of the Buffalo formation, not only demonstrated military brilliance but also instilled a sense of pride and unity among the Zulu people. Their victories against rival tribes and colonial incursions stood as a beacon of resistance in an era that sought to dismantle their identity. In West Africa, the emergence of the Sokoto Caliphate marked a significant turning point. This Islamic empire became synonymous with increased literacy and effective governance, underscoring the importance of education in countering the encroaching influence of European powers. The spread of Islamic scholarship and the establishment of schools transformed the socio-political landscape, fueling a powerful counter-narrative against colonialism. The Sokoto Caliphate showcased a capable leadership that advocated for the rights and autonomy of its people, asserting their position in a rapidly changing world. Simultaneously, the Asante Empire emerged as a staunch opponent of British imperial endeavors. They engaged in multiple fierce confrontations, fiercely defending their territory and way of life. The Asante warriors, equipped with both traditional weapons and innovative adaptations, stood defiantly against colonial ambitions, embodying a spirit of resilience across the African continent. Their persistent resistance highlighted the inherent complexities of colonial encounters, challenging the simplistic narrative of European superiority. However, as the century drew to a close, Africa teetered on the brink of unparalleled challenges. The industrial advancements of Europe, combined with burgeoning global ambitions, intensified the competition for African resources and territories. By the late 1800s, the stitch of imperialism loomed seductive and ominous, heralding a dark chapter in which the continent faced the greatest threat to its existence in the form of the Scramble for Africa, an episode that would redefine not only Africa, but the world itself. In the latter part of the 19th century, the allure of Africa's abundant resources became irresistible to European powers. With its sprawling landscapes teeming with minerals, fertile lands, and a wealth of natural bounty, Africa became the focal point of imperial ambitions. The race to conquer and claim land intensified, driven by an insatiable desire for wealth and strategic advantage. The Berlin Conference of 1884 marked a notorious turning point, where European leaders convened without the presence or consideration of African voices, as they carved up the continent with little regard for its peoples and their histories. The outcomes of the Berlin Conference laid the groundwork for the borders that would define African nations. Yet these lines were drawn with a ruler, not by the pencil of cultural understanding. Ethnic groups, languages, and communities were haphazardly split or clustered together in ways that neglected their historical ties. As a result, the sense of belonging and identity was tragically fragmented, breeding potential for conflict and tension in the years to come. Europe's power dynamics further complicated the scenario, as rival nations clashed over territories, forcing African societies into the margins of their own lands, subject to foreign control and governance. Colonialism imposed a heavy hand on African politics and economies, as European powers dictated terms that served their interests rather than those of the indigenous peoples. Resources were extracted at alarming rates, with little thought to sustainable development or the welfare of local populations. This economic exploitation was woven into the fabric of colonial policy, resulting in a legacy of disenfranchisement and struggle. Yet amidst this bleak landscape, resistance to colonial rule emerged and burgeoned. From the earliest days of occupation, African leaders and communities actively resisted foreign domination, igniting a series of uprisings, revolts, and enduring legacies of defiance. Whether through organized military confrontations, cultural preservation, or political maneuvering, these expressions of resistance showcase the resilience of African identity in the face of oppression. The impact of colonialism is still felt today, with nations grappling with identity, unity, and the scars of a divided past. In every corner of Africa, the heartbeat of resistance echoes, reminding the world that the quest for dignity and self-determination perseveres long after the colonial powers have retreated. Across the vast expanse of Africa, a tide of resilience and determination surged among its leaders as they stood against colonial powers. The Battle of Adwa in 1896 marks a pivotal moment in this struggle, a fierce confrontation that culminated in Ethiopia's triumphant victory over Italy. This unexpected defeat sent shockwaves through Europe, igniting hopes across the continent and symbolizing the vigorous quest for freedom among African nations. In West Africa, the indomitable spirit of Samurai Touré reigned supreme as he skillfully orchestrated a prolonged resistance against French colonial forces. Employing modern military tactics, Touré transformed guerrilla warfare into an art form, engaging in strategic battles that exemplified the strength and unity of his people. His campaign extended for years, an embodiment of the relentless pursuit of sovereignty and autonomy, asserting that colonization would not go unchallenged. Meanwhile, the dark shadows of extraction loomed in the Congo Free State, where the ruthless reign of King Leopold II cast a terrible pall over the land. The exploitation of rubber and ivory resulted in unimaginable suffering, with millions succumbing to brutality under colonial rule. Yet even amidst despair, seeds of resistance sprouted, giving rise to articulate African voices. Newspapers thrived and schools emerged, birthing a new generation empowered with knowledge and the yearning for dignity and equality. As the cries for justice grew louder, new political movements began to take shape. Intellectuals and activists united, their efforts igniting a fervor for change that reverberated through the continent. The passion and perseverance of these leaders inspired countless others to rise and join the fight for independence. The evolution of these grassroots movements marked the beginning of a transformative journey, one that sought not only to liberate nations, but to redefine their identities under the weight of a shared history. Together, they envisioned a future where African nations would reclaim their rights and assert their place on the global stage. From the ashes of colonial oppression, the full bloom of independence movements emerged. These courageous individuals and their communities became the architects of their destinies, solidifying their legacies and laying the groundwork for a united Africa. They rose against the tides of imperialism, nurtured by a collective longing for freedom, echoing the words "never again" as they forged a path to liberation, paving the way for future generations. The 1700s and 1800s witnessed a profound transformation across African nations, compelled by the relentless pressures of European colonization. Rather than succumbing to silence and despair, African leaders initiated crucial military reforms, adapting their strategies to confront external threats while striving to maintain their sovereignty. The resolve of these nations became a powerful testament to their enduring spirit amidst the turmoil and upheaval that engulfed the continent during this period. At the forefront of Africa's resistance was the Zulu Kingdom, a formidable force under the visionary leadership of Shaka Zulu. He orchestrated revolutionary changes in warfare, merging various clans into a cohesive and powerful entity. The Zulus' innovative tactics, including the famed Horns of the Buffalo formation, not only demonstrated military brilliance but also instilled a sense of pride and unity among the Zulu people. Their victories against rival tribes and colonial incursions stood as a beacon of resistance in an era that sought to dismantle their identity. In West Africa, the emergence of the Sokoto Caliphate marked a significant turning point. This Islamic empire became synonymous with increased literacy and effective governance, underscoring the importance of education in countering the encroaching influence of European powers. The spread of Islamic scholarship and the establishment of schools transformed the socio-political landscape, fueling a powerful counter-narrative against colonialism. The Sokoto Caliphate showcased a capable leadership that advocated for the rights and autonomy of its people, asserting their position in a rapidly changing world. Simultaneously, the Asante Empire emerged as a staunch opponent of British imperial endeavors. They engaged in multiple fierce confrontations, fiercely defending their territory and way of life. The Asante warriors, equipped with both traditional weapons and innovative adaptations, stood defiantly against colonial ambitions, embodying a spirit of resilience across the African continent. Their persistent resistance highlighted the inherent complexities of colonial encounters, challenging the simplistic narrative of European superiority. However, as the century drew to a close, Africa teetered on the brink of unparalleled challenges. The industrial advancements of Europe, combined with burgeoning global ambitions, intensified the competition for African resources and territories. By the late 1800s, the stitch of imperialism loomed seductive and ominous, heralding a dark chapter in which the continent faced the greatest threat to its existence in the form of the Scramble for Africa, an episode that would redefine not only Africa, but the world itself. The air was thick with hope, a tangible testament to decades of struggle and sacrifice. The liberation movement surged on through the 60s and 70s, a fervent wave crashing against the remnants of colonial structures. This era represents the triumph of those who hoped, fought, and dreamed of a continent empowered, guiding its destiny with hands untainted by foreign rule. The resilience displayed by African nations during these transformative years became a powerful narrative of strength, perseverance, and a relentless quest for justice. However, the path to freedom was not without its obstacles. Challenges persisted as newly independent nations grappled with governance, social cohesion, and economic stability. Yet the spirit of resilience, forged in the fires of conflict and struggle, equipped nations with the fortitude to endure and evolve. The lessons of unity and the sacrifices of the past shaped a generation determined to steer the continent towards a brighter future. Africa emerged not just as a continent reborn, but as a symbol of indomitable strength and unwavering spirit. The legacy of this tumultuous yet triumphant era continues to inspire, reminding us that even amid uncertainty, the quest for dignity and sovereignty can forge a path towards renewal and hope.